We're shining bright, and we're shining the light on us like no other. Neighborhood Planet. Our neighborhood, our world.
Suave afternoon, suave afternoon, suave afternoon. This is Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, and creator. Hope you guys having a suave day.
Yeah, and with that, let's commence to pay. Okay, I'm so suavelous, you so suavelous. Together we can fix the trauma that's befallen us. Divine social interactions remains marvelous. Mind-blowing, suavelicious talk, higher consciousness. But think, let not your hearts be troubled. Dr. Brother Suave, divine light get you double.
Greetings, this is Dr. Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, creator, and divine social therapist, and host of Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. Yes, on this beautiful, 50 to 60 degree here in Atlanta, Georgia. Man, this weather's up and down, but I love it. I love it. It's not too cold. It's not too hot. Just enjoying this beautiful day, very productive day. I must admit, got a lot accomplished today. Tired, but you know what? It's my tired is just because I put in the work and I'm motivated to keep it moving. Happy about today's broadcast. Going to be just talking about a few things. You know, usually I have guests. And but I wanted to do things a little different. A couple of weeks ago, I did a show by myself, and I really enjoyed it. Now, I definitely enjoy having guests because I like to have people come on and give their perspectives. I don't want to be the person who's just always giving my opinion week in and week out. And I just decided to just do a thing so you can get a chance to learn a little bit more and be a little more intimate with Dr. Brother Suave. Man, the last time, man, people were just chiming in. I loved it. I love it. And I hope I get the same energy that I got 2 weeks ago. Definitely, it was a very great experience, you know, because I'm just not the type who just talking to a camera. It's just never been me. So I see some people, a lot of influencers, they can do it for hours on end, but that's just never been me. That's why I guess I wrote the book 10 Commandments of Intimacy, is because I love the interaction, being intimate with people. In a way that I can just engage. And I love that. So what I'm going to do is give it another shot tonight. How about that? Y'all love it? And so tonight we're going to be talking about a few things. One of the things we're going to be talking about, it's probably the last thing I'm going to be talking about, is the 5 love languages. I love them because guess what? I want all mine. You know, I don't think we need to be limited, because so many times people say, well, what's your 5? And then when you name more than one, you start being critical. Why should I be limited? I'm not going to be limited. And the other topic we're going to be talking about is when you're a winner and you're doing well, they hate you. But then when you're doing bad and you're struggling, they seem to love you. And not loving you the way you think they love you. They loving to see you fall and doing bad. And they seem to have a gratification of seeing someone fall. And the last but not least is, are you mad at me, or are you mad at yourself because you did it again? And so those are a few things we're going to be talking about, dealing with issues of ignoring the red flags, issues of codependency, and also when you, like a theory I said, the RRJ, romanticize, rationalize, and justify. So those are the 3 topics we're going to be talking about tonight. So I'm hoping that people chime in and give some kickback and feedback, and I definitely love it. So we're going to start off again about when you're a winner. And here's the thing. When you see, believe it or not, you may think people really like you, but sometimes they don't. They smile, they see you doing good. It's a lot of resentment, a lot of jealousy. But when you're doing bad and struggling with self-esteem, they love to come in there and try to give you this advice. They haven't even addressed their issues, but they want to give you this advice because guess what? They want to be in that space and enjoy the moment that you're going through pain. Because all of us go through it. All of us have our ups and downs. We have moments where didn't have any money to feed our children, to get gas, to have all these different situations. And this is when a lot of times people are basking in their glory. They love to see that. They love to see a person failing. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't even identify with jealousy. I have many friends who are doing way better than me. People who started late, people who were delayed and didn't even get their act together and doing better. But one thing I've always been grateful, because that's why I always say, man, I thank God for allowing me to see another day to get it right. So each and every day I'm striving to become a better person, a better man, a better father, a better human being. And so this is what I'm saying. So a lot of times people, they don't like to see you win. They don't like to see you win. They love to see you when you're down. And believe it or not, they'll be in your face. But guess what? Sometimes you'll find out later down the road, or it could have been the next year or the following year, or even that time. And somebody will tell you, man, they was talking about you. They was like really happy that you was doing bad. And you're like, wow, is this somebody? Is this my family? Is this somebody, a friend, a coworker? But somebody you trust, allow somebody to be in your space. And this is why you have to really, really tap in and learn how to have this level of discernment. Because if you don't, you allow too many people who don't deserve to be in your space and don't deserve to hear your dreams and aspirations, things you want to be accomplished, or even deserve to hear when you're having struggling times. Greetings, Brother Wally. That's my mentor, man. Happy that you're tuned in, man. I'm happy. Just looking for some feedback from you as well. Present me with some questions on today's topics. And again, tonight's topics. Hey, Brother Frederick Jones. Here, thank you. So our topics, again, if you haven't heard, is when you're a winner, they hate you. And when you're a loser, they love you, and not the love that you think. Also, the 5 languages, the 5 love languages. And again, I want all of mine, because winning is contagious. Yes. Come get some. And the last one is, are you mad at me or are you mad at yourself because you did it again? The issues of struggle with codependency, ignoring the red flags, and rationalizing, romanticize, rationalizing, justifying. So again, you have to be mindful. And so as Brother Wally said, winning is contagious. So this is why it's so important to work on your discernment, start paying attention to the warning signs, read body language, because you want to be in a place where you're around winners, people who celebrate you, people who are happy for you, people who bring that energy of excitement when they hear that you're winning. Not like you're not going to always be in this mood to really do some celebrating, but try to be consistent with it, because we're not always on a high. Sometimes we have times we're struggling and we're just not in the mood. But again, when you see somebody that you love and respect and care for, trust, celebrate with them, And again, jealousy is something I just never identified. So guess what? So on today, I just want you to understand how important to pay attention to when you're winning and how your people and your peers and your friends and how they react to that. And then also compare and contrast when you're losing and you're having some hardships. I'm going to share a story. And this is something where a lot of times people get my suaveness mixed up with arrogance. Throughout my life, I've pretty much been a winner. And I say that to say is that I speak things to existence. And I always had the attitude, I can is easier than I can't. And so throughout life, childhood, I had, behavior issues at times. But the thing is, I always strive to be the best person I could in terms of my dreams and goals. If I said something, trust, it's going to happen. Anybody know me? If I say it, it's going to happen. It's no ifs, ands, but about it, because I speak it and I follow through it because I'm committed. And so this is something. And so what I realized throughout life is it's just been sometimes because I've been naive. I have my big cousin, Sabrina, man. She has really empowered me about a lot of things regarding life, friends, family, relatives. And a lot of times I was just naive. I thought when I would do something well, Good evening, brother Curtis. I would do something well. This is another brother who was always celebrating me. When I would do something well and trying to help someone or just sharing my blessings, sharing my accomplishments, I had to learn the hard way. They weren't happy for me. And I didn't pay attention because I was always naive. I just did not know that people were jealous. I didn't process it because, again, I was naive because I was always celebrating and happy for people. And I didn't even understand what jealousy was, because it wasn't even an ounce in me. I have one of my favorite cousins, man. Trust, he don't even want too many people around him when it comes to certain things. And he had everything. And I always was happy for him, always edified him, always celebrated his wins. But again, I didn't know. And so as I got older, I started paying attention based on my big cousin Sabrina, as she would tell me things. And I started paying attention to people, and everyone knows me. I have products out there, books, T-shirts, just different things, services. Would never get support. And here I am doing a lot of great things in the community with my family. Never got any appreciation or support. Now, don't get it twisted like I'm looking for someone to stroke my ego. No, it was just the fact that I was always happy for people when they win. Always be a supporter, always giving positive reinforcements. Anybody know I'm gonna call you to see how you're doing. If I die tomorrow, trust, people will say one thing about Suave, he's gonna check on you. So we have a question right now. It says, why do you think people enjoy seeing when you are down? Again, could be jealousy, could be some things that, people always say, the simple stuff I say is because they're insecurities in them. I don't believe that. I think some people just have personalities and they maybe have a spirit of envy. You know how one of the things that you should never covet someone else. They may have the spirit of covetousness, and that's major. You don't need to covet other people things, and you have to look at other people because all of us have gifts, and so you have to really understand and tap into. You may have a gift, and you don't want anybody being jealous of your gift because your gift may be used to change the world. Who needs to be jealous of people who have the ability to impact other people's lives? But again, it's a great question. I appreciate that. And again, I said I was always naive. And so these people, they go year in out because a lot of times they're not happy with themselves. And let me tell you, the same empathy that we want, we have to give those people who sometimes are miserable each and every day in their life, year in and year out. Don't allow them to change who you are. Try to say something positive to them. Talk to them. I know sometimes me as a human being, sometimes I say I'm tired of people. It's like one of my friends, it's says bodacious. He says, I love Jesus, but I'm tired of his kids. And sometimes, man, people just have their issues, man. And sometimes we just gotta learn to be compassionate, empathetic, and understanding because they may be in an unhappy place. And them being in an unhappy place, sometimes, man, you can just say something just to change their life. That's why I say I never allow technology to replace the intimacy of calling someone to just tell them I'm just thinking about them, giving them a wellness check, to see how they're doing. And I must say, a lot of times people say, man, I appreciate that. Some of the people today, I appreciate that because really sometimes that little call can make a difference. Again, I wanted to really talk about this because again, I'm happy. Brother Wally, okay, look at any sporting event. Winners' body language show up. Absolutely, yes. Remember I said you can see that body language, and sometimes people get the suaveness mixed up with arrogance. No, it's just that's that body language. Similarly, a loser has a low self-esteem body language. And sometimes sacrifices greater good to bring you down. Why? Again, it's an old saying, hurt people. Now, no one has to literally hurt somebody for them to want to hurt you. They're hurt by maybe some disappointment. They hurt by not having the life they feel that they deserve. They hurt, but are not even probably getting acknowledgement or recognition. And that sometimes it comes to the point of envy, you know? And so they sometimes, instead of trying to turn that frown upside down, it's saying that that's sunk in place. And so again, this is why I always try to tell people, man, you got to sometimes shake yourself and jar yourself and say to yourself, you are great. Look in the mirror each and every day and say, you're great. You're a winner, you know? And just remember, it's an old song in the 70s, I believe. Yes. He used to say, winners never quit and quitters never win. And that's a great philosophy. You know, when you're a winner, you don't quit. That's the thing. You say, why? Because they're quitters. And a quitter's always losing because they're always giving up. And so when they give up, and again, they're hurt. So since they're hurt, they want to hurt you. They want to see you be in a place where they are. And that's the thing. They want to be in a place where you at, but they don't push it. Here's on Mr. Jones. It says, I win. I never lose. I learn. Absolutely. I change the mindset, and that's my L for learning. Absolutely. You know, and see, this is the thing. When people say, you know, I don't ever lose. I learn. And that's, again, these people, when they don't understand it, you know how people say the insanity cycle, doing something over and over and getting expecting different results. See, these people don't learn from their lessons. And that goes to another topic that I had. Are you mad with me? Or are you mad with yourself because you didn't learn a lesson? You didn't see the warning signs. You didn't pay attention to those things, you know? And what else I said on it? Oh, you did it again. And you ignored the red flags. And then you had some issues with codependency. So again, I love that, you know, you don't lose because you always win because you learn. You learn from your mistakes. Fred, I love that. You know, again, this is something that we have to learn each and every day. We have some issues, we fall, but we don't give up. You know, it was a thing where it's a little cartoon where the person was digging and digging and digging, and it was that's like their goal was right on the other side, and it said something in the caption said, you know, you never give up because you never know how close you are to reaching your goals. And again, it's so many people do what I do in terms of writing books, lecturing, podcast, radio, just striving for it. You never give up. It's been 30 years. You know, you don't give up. You never give up. You may go from having black, full head of hair to being bald filled with gray, but you gotta continue to strive. You know, just understand how important it is to never give up. Oh, how you doing, Chris? It says, so happy that you came in. Thank you so much. It said, how to best respond to a person that has admitted they are jealous of you or are jealous of your accomplishments. This person happens to be a friend. One thing, again, learning, it says, well, so-called friend. Listen, let me tell you something. They are a friend. But again, we all have our issues. And one thing I'm going to tell you this. And again, when you learn how to turn that frown upside down, you learn how to have a level of appreciation for transparency. See, sometimes if they're admitting that they have this jealousy, this is where empathy comes in. And you try to help them navigate through what it is that they're jealous of and where did it come from. Because the fact that they told you, because let me tell you something, it's better to know than not know. See, one of the things I've learned for years, I had people in my space, in my circle who envied me. That would be family and friends, coworkers, teammates. And so when someone tell you, trust, appreciate it. You know how they say, when somebody tell you or show you who they are, believe them. When they tell you they're jealous of, believe them. But be appreciative that they told you. And then guess what? They was the friend who actually had the ability to tell you. Now, I don't know the circumstances why they told you, but have a level of appreciation. Now, I'm not going to say you don't, feed them from a long spoon, but it's a good thing that you do know. That's the best thing that you do know, because sometimes when people don't know, it gets worse. I always say when things go unaddressed, it progressively gets worse. So when this person never addressed their jealousy for you, trust, they can do some things can sabotage your future, your career, even your life. So be appreciative to that they actually told you. So and try to work through it, because again, it's, you may see it as a so-called friend, but a friend actually told you. Because sometimes it's just like an apology. Some people won't ever apologize. Some people never admit they're wrong. So when someone has the integrity to say, you know what, I've been struggling, I'm wrong, I've been struggling, I'm sorry, look at that in a way, and try to make it go a long way. Because again, so many people will not apologize. So many people will not tell you they're sorry. So many people won't tell you they're jealous of you. Okay, thank you for that outstanding question. And so it was something else I wanted to address. Oh, I didn't even realize what time it is. Listen, what I'm going to do is just take, we're going to go to station identification, and we'll be right back with our subject for tonight. All right.
Tune in and stream live now. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, is now being broadcast on NPN Voice. NPN Voice can be found on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, and now on Audible and Amazon Music, and anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, now on NPN Voice. NPN Voice. Got voice. You heard?
And we're back with Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. We was talking about when you're a winner, people hate on you, and when you're a loser, they tend to love you. So I wanted to, I was just going over a few notes because we're in a time when you could be down and out, and your friends, family members, and associates can see you struggling, seeing you going through hardships. And guess what? They'll just watch you. They won't say nothing. They seem to enjoy every single moment of your struggle, and they won't even offer help. Now, don't get it twisted. You can't always expect someone to help you. That's unrealistic. Sometimes you just got to go through what you got to go through. But they will sometimes put a mask on, a smile, and really pretend that they really care about you and saying, what can I do? You know, this is why sometimes people, they don't like people to pray or put their hands on them, because they don't know people's heart, and their spirit, and their intentions. So sometimes you got to be mindful. This is what I'm saying. Pay attention to people's body language, because they don't always have the best for you. But guess what? Again, as I say, these people will pretend, or sometimes you know what they do. They'll watch you in the corner. And then when you get through it, they say, oh man, why you didn't say nothing to me? They just saw you now, but they didn't say a word. So my recommendations that you do is master the serenity prayer, have belief and faith in yourself, and do everything in your power. And I say everything in your power to overcome your hardship and anything that you're going through. And this is why I say I can is easier than I can. And you have to just again, I always say to people who are super churchy at times, and I say, the Bible say faith of a mustard seed moves mountains. But in the book of Suave, it says doubt of a mustard seed counsels blessings. And you must have 100% faith and 0 doubt, because 99.99 won't do. You can't have 99.9. You need to have 100% faith. And again, me, I'm always have faith in myself. I'm always believe in myself. And if I have a mustard seed of doubt that I can't get accomplished, guess what? I got a support system. I got mentors. I have people who would tell me the truth, give me some words of wisdom, because I don't want to be a fool. I know Proverbs was talking about the book of wisdom and understanding, and a fool rejects wisdom. So I'm going to always seek wise counsel, and they're going to talk to me and give me some insight. And so again, you want to watch these people. You want to watch their body language. You want to pay attention to those who support you. You want to pay attention to those who try to use you. You want to pay attention to those who try to manipulate you, and always do your best to be mindful of little things they say. You got to listen, got to pay attention with those pessimistic people who are always saying something negative. You don't want that energy in your space all the time. There's always something negative, and you don't want to spend so much time constantly redirecting them out. Good. And when you know something, it's important to share that information, no doubt. But also just be mindful of them being pessimistic and never negative all the time. Because again, you need to watch out and avoid those type of people. Because guess what? It's like a plague. Again, if the more you hang around them, you can pick up some of the bad habits, and be mindful. You may pick up some bad habits you can never get rid of, and that's spiritual. So again, always strive for greatness, and try to improve your health, both mentally, spiritually, and physically. And so what you do is, while you going through your thing, write down your goals, pursue them like your life depends on it. Trust. You don't trust nobody, and you don't have more people put more energy in what you're striving for than you, because those are your goals. Make your circle smaller. See, I had a big circle, a lot of people, but I made my circle smaller, and it's getting stronger. And this is because I'm learning. Again, you never get too old to learn. And I'm constantly seeking wise counsel and trying to make myself the best version of myself. I haven't got there yet, but definitely I will get there. And always try to have a strong support system. Again, listen, regardless how small we are, how smart we are, how much we accomplish, and I always need a mentor. Always need a mentor. You have mentors in all different areas of your life, and seek them out. Trust, it'll work out. Mentors have, you have a professional mentor, you have a spiritual mentor, you have a financial mentor. These are advisors. Seek wise counsel. I'm telling you, it will change your life. And never let your ego get in the way, because again, a fool rejects wisdom. So always have a ego. And if you have some issues, seek a life coach, seek a counsel, seek therapy. Listen, this is you invest in yourself. That's the main thing. And get financial advisors. Get your credit right. Get your career and get your life in a place that it needs to be. And what you do, once you put all that stuff together, see how that works out. But also see how people start to treat you. And trust, the way they see you will not be any concern of yours. That's their issue. Let them stay with it. And then you start to compare those relationships that you had with those people. When you start getting your point, getting on point, be fresh dressed, looking like $1 million, no longer struggling. You're not having issues of, worrying about who's in your space, because these people proved that they was there during all times. And thank you, brother Wally. And again, I often share my stories with Brother Wally, and I remember going through HE hockey stick, was losing everything, had kids to take care of, and just was in a mess, a hot mess, because I was just felt like things wasn't going. But guess what? I believed in myself. I was transparent. I shared what I was going through. This dude took me and my kids shopping, got us a whole bunch of food that last us, I don't know, a month or so. But I was so grateful. And this is why you have to always have a level of appreciation, and a lot of times you may feel like you don't have anybody out there. And that's why you have to watch who you share your things that are important to you, things that you want to protect. And this is where intimacy comes in. So you have to make sure you watch. And that's why I say pay attention to the warning signs, because people sometimes will be in your space and they like to be in that space so they can talk about you. And you don't want to give them any extra ammunition to be talking about you. Okay. So again, that was that area that I would want to talk about. And this is the thing. We're going to be going to the 5 love languages, because guess what? I want them all. And, when we talk about these 5 love languages, and again, I mentioned it earlier, I'm not going to be limited. So going to the 5 love languages, man, words of affirmations, that verbal connection. See, again, people need to hear. This is why I talk about the verbal connection. They need to hear things. Like, for example, I love you. I agree. I understand. I hear you. Those things are important. But guess what else is important? Calling someone and say, hey, just was thinking about you. Hey, happy birthday. We are doing this entirely too much. We are going on Facebook saying, hey, happy birthday. I celebrate you. I'm going to role play right quick, and I don't have nobody role play, but I'm going to do the best way I can. So I'm going to, everyone who's listening, I want you to count to 10 and see how quick. No, I want not even count to 10. I want you to just count and see how long it takes to make a call. Just tell someone, here's your pick up the phone, because you don't even have to dial the day. You find the name, bam, you hit it. Bam, it's ringing. We're on 1 ring, 2 rings, 3 rings. I want you to be counting. Hello, hey, listen, I just want to tell you how I just thought about you. I don't have much time, I don't like really talking, but I just want to tell you, hey, hope you have a great day, and we'll catch up another day, but I just want to hear your voice. All right, bye-bye. Was that 10 seconds? I don't know. You tell me. But the bottom line is, if the people you love and respect and appreciate, I think they deserve a little more than just constantly using this. I remember when Texas first text came out. I don't know if you guys know the history, but it wasn't meant to be our primary form of communication. It was for people who were in business meeting and they could be interrupted during the course of a meeting. So what they would do is get a correspondence via text and just say, I'll call you back. That's why they have those programs in meeting. I'll call you back, busy. It wasn't meant to replace my primary form of communication. It was an alternative, just a temporary fix until you got in a place that then you would call them back. And it's just going more left. So again, words of affirmation is important. People need to hear your voice. And I think what happens is it probably got to the point that we don't even need it anymore, because so many people have turned and moonwalking, I say, going backwards. That's what I call it. And again, acts of service. Now, we always think about acts of service as helping and doing something kind or nice for someone. But in my 10 Commandments of Intimacy, it was talking about I like balance. Sometimes people need help. And so you need to do things to help others, like, for example, you got a neighbor. Remember I was saying, being your neighbor, go help them. Look out for their house. It's an act of service. I believe the word love used to be the word charity. And then somehow it changed its meaning, and in translation, it ended up being love. But when you love someone, you do things for them, and you don't have to be asked for. You don't have to be manipulated. You don't have to be convinced. You just do things, and those things of acts of service is important. So constantly be kind to other people, help people, help your neighbors, your friends, and all those things. It just is this act of kindness. And again, I want words of affirmation. I want people to show me kindness. I want people to help me, and I'm not sitting there begging, please help. No, it's just nice to feel appreciated. Nice for someone to go ahead and do something for you. In my experience is that when I've been in Atlanta 2 months, something like that, 3. My neighbor, this took me way back in the 70s. I was just got here, and a neighbor across the street, the man introduced himself, He asked me if I needed anything, and he gave me his number. It took me way back. You just don't see that anymore. Maybe you do. Let me just stop, because I'm not everywhere, and I'm not in every place. But it just took me to a place, and I love that. And guess what? My family always picked at me because I'm really not that handy. But he showed me how to do something that was so simple. But the fact is, he came and helped me, and I appreciate that. And that to me was an act of service, because he did something he didn't have to do, and he reached out to me and he helped me, and I love that. And to me, that's like a gift. And that's the next one. Obviously, when we see love languages of gifts, but sometimes what comes to mind to me is those intangible gifts, like being courteous and being considerate for someone, covering them when they need help. It could be a person who needed a shift change, covering them, looking out for them. Again, we always look at material things, and it's just not necessarily about material things. It's those intangible things that you give people. Like, for example, giving advice. It's a gift. I often say a therapist's time and advice is a stock in trade. So if I happen to give some free information, that's a gift. That's a gift. What's up, brother Kai? Oh man, oh brother. Thank you for showing up. That's my barber, man. The man always keeping me tight. Just letting you know, Kai the barber, Kai for real, so real. All right, man. And so again, that's a gift. And again, gifts, edifying people, telling somebody about someone. It don't always have to be the tangible gifts, telling somebody about somebody's services, telling somebody about someone else. Those are gifts. And we have to learn about these different love languages. And I want all mine. And so quality time. Now, quality time is something. This is what I want to share. And I hope I don't offend anybody. But sometimes, man, people say I spent time with you. But guess what? This device right here. When you spend quality time, you need to be intentional when you're spending quality time. See, I got two: personal and business. Quality time, put it away. Put it away. Be intentional. Be intentional. And that's one thing I see a lot of professionals, high rollers, people who doing well in their profession, making plenty of dough. Ministers not spending quality time, not preaching, being their pastor, being their therapist, being their advisor. Just be a husband, just be a wife, just be a friend, just be a mother, just be a father. That's the quality time I see it is, because sometimes I see that becomes an issue with leaders. The children just want to have daddy. The children just want to have mommy. The friends just want to have a friend. I've been guilty of it. I don't want to say I haven't. They don't want to always be psychoanalyzed. They don't always want to be dissected, looking at, no, they just want to talk, and that's it. That's it. That's all they want. So again, when you're spending that quality time, just be a friend. That's all. Just be a friend. And the last one is that physical touch. I'm shallow on that one, but anyway, again, understanding about physical touch. There's so many different ways of physical touch. And here's a non-tangible physical touch. When you're not in their space, and this is where I tend to acknowledge a device. When you're not in them, you can do a physical touch like an emoji with a heart. Hey, bring it in. Something. You have these, means where you can just sit there and say, I love you. I'm thinking about you. Here's a long distance hug or a high five or something like that. Those things can be very like physical touch, but you don't have it. But kissing, you know, I remember when I was writing the Ten Commandments of Intimacy. I know I'm always using that reference, but it was just, to me, it was a great book. And so, kissing is very intimate because, people don't always want to have sexual intercourse, but they just want to be hugged. They just want to be kissed. And those things are important. Those are one of the most intimate things, in my opinion, that people can have when it comes to physical touch. And again, why should we be limited? So those are the things that I wanted to talk about tonight. There's some more, but man, I'm just happy that I was able to address these things. And the last part I'm going to be talking about tonight is, are you mad with me? Are you mad at yourself because you did not see the warning signs? You have codependent issues. You ignored the red flags. You know how some people, again, I said, hurt people. Sometimes, man, people be so hurt because they'll sit there and say, I want this, I want that, I want that. But guess what? They failed themselves. This is why I always say, you don't do better when you know better. You do better through the application of discipline. Discipline and follow through is more important than knowledge, because you can know something, but are you following through with that? And so sometimes you find yourself getting mad with yourself, but you project, say, man, all these women doing this, all these men doing this. No, man, you did that to yourself because you saw something in that person you didn't like, and you didn't honor your discernment. You didn't honor it. You already know, you saw it. They showed you who they were, but you didn't believe it. So guess what? Instead of taking ownership and personal responsibility, you just get mad at them and taking it out on them, and not sitting there and saying, hey, time out. I'm not feeling this. No. You move forward and continue to move forward to then you have this stronghold. You connected emotionally, and then you have a hard time getting away from that. And those are the things, thanks a lot, you struggle with. And so sometimes, man, you got to take ownership. And again, you are mad at yourself. Listen, anybody sit there and when you hear that, just take ownership. Just tell them to take ownership, because they ain't mad with you. They mad at themselves because they dropped the ball again. Here's a good example. It makes me laugh when a lot of times people want to throw the guys under the bus and, oh, he's sorry behind, he's unemployed behind, I had to do this, had to do that. Well, guess what? Why you grown 4 decades, 5 decades on earth, and you dealing with someone? Now, listen, again, I'm not telling you to disregard character and integrity, but also remember, a person got character, they're going to be doing something to provide themselves with some type of stability. You understand? Because they're grown and they know how important it is to have your own. And so these people move forward with them because, again, they're codependent issues. They're rationalized, like I say, romanticize, rationalize, justify. They romanticize because they want to be in a relationship so much so they really thirsty, but they have a hard time admitting it. Then they rationalize that, yeah, again, 40 to 50-year-old with potential. We all know what potential is. For us who's doing something, I got the potential to do some bigger and better things, but I'm still striving, and not somebody who just don't have a level of stability. Listen, nobody sit there have to have everything. Just have ability to take care of yourself because you have an obligation to take care of yourself. And so those are the things. And so what happens is these people move forward, and then when it don't pan out, what they do? Start blaming the other person. Oh, they didn't have a job. They wasn't doing good. They were struggling. They sorry behind. Well, listen, secret. If they're sorry, you're sorrier. I said what I said. If they're sorry, you're sorrier. Reason is because they may have some disabilities. They may have some economics. They may have some developmental issues. What's your excuse? You see everything they showed you in it, and you still move forward. You're the one sorry. Just like I talk about codependence. See, people are always looking at the beneficiary as a codependent. The benefactor is more of a codependent because they always need somebody to need them. They always want to help. Like I said, a Captain Saver bro is a Captain Saver. I don't really say it, but anyway. And there's a lot of those people out there. They always trying to help somebody. And then let those people start getting better. They still trying to help them. And the people say, oh, no, I'm straight. What they do? Want to start throwing the guilt. Oh, you don't need me no more. See? They always needing someone to need them. So y'all got to pay attention to those people who are always trying to break their neck to help. And I know it sounds a little but it's important to help, but also because we're in a world where just the strong help the weak, but these people take it to a whole nother level. They take it to a whole nother level. And you have to watch out for those people. And those people, sometimes they really need help because codependency is just not something where the beneficiary benefits. Those benefactors benefit because they have this thing where they want their egos to be stroked. They want to always feel needed. And they don't work on themselves. They spend more time, again, trying to help everybody else, but they never do any self-care and taking time for themselves. And so those are the things you have to be mindful of. And so those are the things I wanted to talk about tonight. I was happy that I was able to do it. Thank you for the support of Brother Wally, Chris, Brother Kegler, Brother Fred Jones, and all those who supported. And again, charge it to my mind and not my heart if I didn't call your name and didn't acknowledge you. Because again, if you know me, I'm always going to be genuine about it. And I apologize if I didn't remember your name. And I'm just happy to be able to do this broadcast again, being a little, have an opportunity to be intimate with you guys and doing something different than I always do. And the more I do it, the more confidence I get, the more suave it is I get, the better I get, the more proficient I get. I can roll. I don't probably have to read notes or anything, but I'm going to also take the initiative to use my notes because I don't want to take anything for granted. And again, because I know I'm getting older, but guess what? When there's a will, there's a way. So I'm going to always try to be the best version of myself. And again, I can. It's easier than I can't. So this is Dr. Brother Suave, Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. And just remember, great minds reach great places. Love you. I mean it. Bye-bye.
Tune in and stream live now. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, is now being broadcast on NPN Voice. NPN Voice can be found on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, and now on Audible and Amazon Music and anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, now on NPN Voice. NPN Voice. Got voice. You heard? Programs like this are made possible by Neighborhood Planet Broadcasting Systems, Neighborhood Planet Network, iBlister Digital Media Creative, and from contributions to NPN TV from viewers